Native Americans as well as Latinos. Okay? Now, the term black power has been around for a while. However, the term red power has been around for a little bit longer. If you remember back in the 1950s, they had the termination policy of terminating their traditions outside their land. And so the movement Red Power is started at that point. Red Power is where Native Americans are going to fight to keep their traditions alive. Black Power comes up a little bit later. Now, Red Power had many groups, okay? Many groups. But the biggest one we need to talk about was called AIM, and there's a way to remember like you aim a gun. The American Indian Movement. They are a militant movement. They have some similarities to the Black Panthers in that they are armed, or as you would call, strapped, and they're ready to go in. So AIM is going to use a more militant approach to fight for their rights, and they did something kind of unique. You can see it there, Wounded Knee, but the bigger thing is they went to Alcatraz Island, which used to be a prison. And so you can see Alcatraz Island, prison, nobody there. And they tagged it Indians Welcome, United Indian Property, because at one time this had belonged to the Hopi Indians and the Californian Indians as well. So they went and what is called an Occupy movement. That means they went and basically without a fight, because nobody was there, they just sat down and they're not going to leave. And so they sat here, they occupied this as well as Wounded Knee, and they were beginning to question, where are civil rights, etc. Now, to the African Americans, we had Dr. King. To the Latinos, we had Cesar Chavez. And to the Red Power AIM, we had Richard Oakes. And so Richard Oakes was the spokesperson for this AIM movement, these Occupy movements. And the whole idea is to gain their civil rights as well. Shifting gears slightly, I mentioned him already. The Dr. King of the Latinos was Cesar Chavez. So much so that George Lopez, in his Lopez show that was on TV a while ago, had a fictional elementary school called Cesar Chavez Elementary School. And this was done to show respect to this man, that without him, Latinos would not have many rights. So Cesar Chavez is going to make a voice for the Latino people. And this is just like it was in any other movement. So you want to get the Latinos, that's fine. We have to find one particular group. We've got to figure out what we want. We've got to get them organized into something, and then we have to have an incident, okay? So the group he's going to go and select, we call them migrant agricultural workers. That basically means they move from farm to farm. They pick the crops, grapes, whatever it might be. And they're basically here without many rights. If you remember back in the 40s and 50s, we had something called the Bracero program, which brought a lot of them here, and then later on, they told their relatives and they came here. They're working very long hours. They don't have clean drinking water, and so they begin to grumble a little bit, and they want some rights. So, like I said, they need to organize. They will organize into what is called the UFW, or United Farm Workers, and they're going to take the symbol of this Aztec eagle. And so the UFW is basically just a organized group. It's similar to the SCLC or SNCC of that, or AIM of the Indians, in that we have one person speaking for them, and that would be Cesar Chavez. Now, their way of getting things accomplished was called a huelga, a strike. And a strike is a little bit efficient, but in looking at this, they came up with a much better idea. California is the largest producer of what was called table grapes. That means grapes not used in wine. And they were not paying the Latinos very well. They were not treating them well. They didn't have adequate breaks or access to water, and so it's a very hard life. So they came up with a plan that was called the California Grape Growers Boycott. In short, if the grape you bought at the store did not have the Aztec eagle, you were told to, quote, boycott it or do not buy it. Now, a boycott, again, is a great and very effective tool because it hurts people and where it really matters to them, in their pocketbook, all right, in their wallet. So the grape growers boycott will continue until finally the owners of these grape farms signed a deal with Cesar Chavez and the UFW promising to recognize rights. And so that is where we're going to stop there with that. We're now going to move into kind of the more non-violent stuff, as well as the hippies and the protest movement of the 1960s.